Dear America, a picture of freedom. The Diary of Clotee, a slave girl. Belmont Plantation, Virginia, 1859. March, 1859. The spring blooms are comin', and the sky is a sure blue. March never knows if it wants to be a spring month or a winter month. The heat's come early to Virginia this year. That's fine with me, though. As long as it's hot, I have to fan young Mass William and Miss Lily, my mistress, during their study time. This morning was the first day of my third learning season. For now on 3 years, I have been fanning 'em, lifting and lowering the big fan made of woven Carolina sweetgrass, up and down, up and down. The fan stirs the thick air, up and down, and chases away worrisome horseflies and eye gnats. It may seem like a silly job, but I don't mind one bit, 'cause while William is learning, so am I. Standing there fanning, up and down, I come to know my ABCs and the sounds the letters make. I teach myself how to read words. Now I can pick through things I find to read, like throwed away newspapers, letters in the trash, and books I slip off Mass Henry's shelves. It scares me to know what I know sometimes. Slaves ain't supposed to know how to read and write, but I do. Miss Lily would fall down in a fit if she knew I had made myself a diary like the one she's got on her bed table. It don't matter to me that hers is all wrapped in fine satin and got ribbons and beads on it, and mine is just made up of papers I found in the trash and keeps tied together with a measure of yarn. It's a diary just the same. Mine. And I aim to write in it whenever I get a chance. I gotta be real particular and make sure nobody finds out, though, 'cause if my master finds out, I would fall under the whip. Time and again I done heard Mass Henley swear that if he catches his slaves with learning, he'll beat the skin off us, then sell our hides to slavers from the deep south. He's got the law on his side, too. Anybody found teaching a slave in the state of Virginia can be sent to jail. Sure. Wonder why the white folks is so determined to keep us from knowing things. What are they scared of? Can't help but laugh a little bit when I think of what Mass Henley would think if he knew I could read better than his boy, and that it was his own wife that had teached me. It's near dark. Pray, Lord, don't let nobody find my diary hid behind the loose brick in the outside chimney wall, back of the kitchen. Hope it can stay dry and safe until I sneak away to write again. Next morning, first light, I got up extra early and churned the butter for breakfast, and helped out in the kitchen the way Aunt T specs me to every morning. That give me a little time to practice my writing at my spot by the big tree out behind the kitchen. Sunrise is a good writing hour, when all is still and quiet. I want to tell somebody about all the things I done learned for the past 3 years. Words got magic. Every time I read or write a word, it puts a picture in my head. Like when I write HOME, I sees Belmont Plantation and all the people that live here. I sees the big house where Mass Henley and Miss Lily and William stay, living easy. I see the separate kitchen with the attic above it where I sleep along with Aunt T, Uncle Heb, and Hints. I see the quarters where my friends live, and beyond their cabins, the fields and orchards where they work. I sees Aunt T cooking at the fireplace, and the stables where Hints takes care of Mass Henley's prize racing horses, and the gardens and the grounds that Uncle Heb makes pretty. Home. That one little word show me all that. Mass Henley thinks he owns everything here at Belmont, but he don't own all of me. Not really. I know. He can tell me to come and I got to come. When he say do this, I better do it or he'll put the whip to my back. But I done learned that he can't tell me what to think, and feel, and know. He look at me every day, but he can't see what's in my head. He can't own what's inside me. Nobody can. Few days later, it rained all the long, long day. Everything is dampish and sticky. I wondered if my diary stayed dried in its hiding place. No need to worry. The stone covered it well. Next day. It rained again today. When it rains hard, the field slaves don't have to work. But our work in the kitchen goes on all the time. No days off. Aunt T says I'm lucky, getting picked to work in the big house. I ain't so sure. Living right under Mass Henley and Miss Lily ain't so easy to me. We got to do their biddin' all hours of the night and day, but field work is hard. Hard on your back, and in the summer, the heat is smothery. I guess what it comes to is being a slave ain't no good no matter where they got you workin'. Next day. I just wrote TREE. I see my tree, the live oak behind the kitchen where I come to write whenever I can slip away. I put a S on the tree, and now the word is trees. The picture in my head turns to the apple orchards. In spring, the apple trees are filled with bright white blossoms. I close my eyes and see the same trees in the green of summer, and full of good tastin' apples in the fall. I love playin' with words, puttin' letters in and takin' letters out and lettin' the pictures change. Monday. I know it's Monday, 'cause Miss Lily comes to the kitchen every Monday morning to pass out the flour, sugar, and meal. It's so hard keepin' secrets from the people I live with. Sometimes when I'm helpin' Aunt T in the kitchen, I want to tell her about my learnin' so bad, but I can't, even though she's about the closest thing to a mama I got since my own mama died 5 years ago. I don't think she'd do a thing to hurt me, but she'd been real close with Mass Henley all his life. Been his cook since before he got married to Miss Lily. Can't take the chance. I want to tell Uncle Heb how I used his whittlin' knife to make a writin' pen out of a turkey quill. He'd be right proud of his sunflower girl. That's what he calls me. But he's old now, forgetful. He might just slip up and tell the wrong person, who'd tell Mass Henley on me just to win a favor. What I wouldn't give to tell Hints how, whilst I'm dustin', I slip ink out of Mass Henley's study in a glass bottle. I can see him laughin' so his eyes would witter up. I'd come more close to tellin' Hints my secret than anybody else, him bein' like a big brother to me, always teasin' and funnin'. Hints say I study on things all the time, off by myself too much. He don't understand I ain't off to myself 'cause I want to be. I'm just bein' careful like, not wantin' to be caught practicin' my writin' and readin'. If Mama was alive, I could tell her. But Mama is gone. Gone forever. Dead. So there's nobody I trust enough to tell. 2 days later. It ain't even summer yet, and William is fussin' about the heat. I am 12, and he is too, but he seems so much younger. Maybe it's 'cause William is forever whinin' about somethin', 'specially at study time. I just stay quiet and listen, fannin', up and down, up and down. Aunt T say William is spoiled to a stink. Moss Henley thinks his son is a little piece of heaven here on earth. Course nobody else shares that notion, not even the boy's mama. Next day. There's going to be a dinner party at the big house tonight. Aunt T sent me down to the quarters to get Aggie and Eva May to help out in the kitchen. Whenever I write FRIEND, I always put an S on it, 'cause I have two friends. Eva May's daughter, Missy, she's 15, and Aggie's daughter, Wook, she's 16. They all growed up now, but we still be friends. Known them all my life. Can't even remember a time when I didn't know them. I've always been a little jealous, 'cause Wook and Missy be closer to each other than they's to me, and they each got their mamas with them. Missy's daddy was Moss Hunley's best jockey, but he was throwed from his horse and killed a year or so back. Now Hints do all the ridin'. Eva May is still grievin', and Missy misses her daddy much as I miss my mama. Wook is lucky to have a daddy like Rufus. Anybody who knows Rufus and Aggie likes them. Rufus came to Belmont about 2 years ago from over in Hampton. He's a strong man, big, but not fat, not tall either. Uncle Heb said he's a God-fearing man. Must have seen that Rufus was a natural-born leader, so he made Rufus the field boss. A lot of women had their eyes on Rufus when he came, but he married Aggie, a big, fine woman who had a daughter. But Rufus took Wook to be his very own daughter. Aggie is going to have a baby real soon. When her time come, Aunt T will do the birthin'. Aunt T is the plantation midwife. Birthed Hints, Wook, Missy, and even birthed me. She look out after all the 'spectin' women. She showed me the secrets to all her medicine recipes, but she will not let me go to a birthin' with her. I want to know about such things, but Aunt T say it's not for me. How does she know it not for me, if she ain't never let me go? Next day. Even though we don't live but a short walk from each other, Wook and Missy and I don't get to visit much during the week, just on Saturday nights and Sunday. I got to fess, I likes Wook better than Missy. Missy always pushed and hit us when she was young. Now that she's a big girl, she push and hit with words. Just yesterday she come sayin', I thought I was somebody, 'cause I work in the big house. Aggie and Wook work in the fields, hunched over all day in the hot sun. Aunt T say that's enough to make a body mean. Friday. Fear of another frost is over, and the moon is full. Aunt T said it was time to plant the house garden behind the kitchen. The family will eat out of it all summer and well into fall. Put in greens, goobers, cabbage, okra, all we could plant on that one spot. Taking care of the house garden is one job I don't mind doing. It's fun working with the plants, watching them grow and make food. Next night. It stormed earlier tonight. Flashes of lightning lit up the attic room. I tried not to be scared. Lord, I miss Mama. When I was little and it would storm, me and Mama would hug up close and I wouldn't be scared. The rain has finally stopped, but it is still hot and muggy. Can't sleep. Besides, I woke up dreaming about Mama again. I slipped quiet like out of the kitchen, careful not to wake anybody, so I could come right. I am here at the live oak, my spot. Here I can let my tears drop like the rain and tell the moon about my sadness. Writin' about my dream helps the hurt go away. In my dream, I touched Mama's round brown face, like she used to do. She wet the tip of her apron and dabbed away the sweat over my upper lip and on my forehead. I saw myself reading to her. She smiled and clapped her hands. I heard her soft voice praise me the way Moss Henley do William when he gets the least little thing right. I know so much more, Mama. Let me show you. The soft in her face changed, and her eyes held a warning I couldn't understand. What's wrong, Mama? She wanted to say something, but she was pulled away into the dark by some powerful big hand. Mama, wait! She was gone, and I woke up to the cold hurt and truth. Mama is dead. Next day. I slipped off to visit with Missy and Wook today. I found them amongst the young tobacco plants, alongside Rufus. I was so glad to see them. We used to have a great time together, playing games. Then Moss put Missy and Wook to work in the fields, and I got put to work in the big house. Wook's face looks tired and drawn. All Missy wanted to talk about was how cute she thought Hints was. Cute? Hints? Missy got eyes for Hints? She did say something that made good sense. She said that Rufus had asked Moss Henley if he could hold a service at Easter time. I'm surprised. Moss ain't in the habit of doing things nice for nobody, less'n it serves him. Easter Sunday. After breakfast, we all gathered in the corners for the Easter meetin'. Most times all of us be so tired we just fall out on Sunday. Try to rest. Be ready for sunrise bell come Monday. But Rufus lifted everybody's spirits today. Moss Henley came to the service to see what we was doin'. Come talkin' about how he didn't want no shoutin' and carryin' on about freedom. He told us to pray for good weather and a big harvest. Sing about joy and happiness. No sad songs. I wonder, does he really believe we'll pray for his good fortune and not our own? He say if we do like he say, then he'll let us have more meetin's on Sunday. Anyhow, Moss Henley sat down, and Rufus took over. Wook told me once that Rufus had been the slave of a preachin' man before being sold to Moss Henley. Uncle Heb say Rufus had learned the Bible from cover to cover, and knowed all the stories by heart. One day, I want to read the Bible for myself. There's a Bible that stays on Moss Henley's readin' table. I looked at it many times, but I've never touched it. I think he'd know if I did. Rufus began the meetin' by asking Uncle Heb to speak a prayer. Then he called on Aggie to sing. Then Rufus told us a story about a brave man named Daniel who stood down lions with just his faith. When we find ourselves in the lion's den, Rufus say we should be like Daniel and believe that God will deliver us from all harm. Everybody shouted amen to that, even me. But I'm not sure about facing a lion. What a scary thing, facing a lion. Monday evening. The last meal of the day is over, and all the dishes is washed. I'm so tired. You don't know what tired is, Aunt T told me. Be glad you ain't got to work the fields. I can't imagine being tireder than I am now. I wonder, did Wook and Aggie go to bed feeling sick tired like me? Day or two later. There's just enough light to practice my writing. Freedom is one of the first words I teach myself to write. Down in the quarters, people pray for freedom. They sing about freedom. But to keep Moss Henley from knowing their true feelings, they call freedom heaven. Everybody's mind is on freedom. But it is a word that ain't never showed me no picture. While fanning this afternoon, my eyes fell on freedom in a book William was reading. No wonder I don't see nothing. I've been spelling it Freedum. I put the right letters in my head to make sure I remembered their place. Freedom. I just now wrote it. Still no picture. Nothing. The letters just sit there on the page. Spelled right or wrong, freedom got no picture, no magic. Freedom is just a word. Friday. Whenever I dust Miss Henley's study, I look at his calendar and get the date. Today is Friday, April 1st, 1859. First Sunday in April. Round here, they don't work the field hands on Sunday, but us who works in the kitchen and big house don't get off but a few hours on Sunday morning, and in the evening after the last meal is served. We didn't even get that much time off today. A new girl named Spicy come to the kitchen today. She's got about 15 years. Miss Lily bought her from the Ambrose plantation. Supposed to help Aunt T and me with the cooking and cleaning. I'm glad she's here. We need all the help we can get. But Aunt T ain't so happy. She thinks Spicy is a spy for Miss Lily. Clotee, make sure you don't give Spicy no bones to take to the big house. It's a fair warning. Ma's Henley and Miss Lily promise us extra clothing and sweets if we tell them things. The missus promised to give me a handkerchief with yellow and purple pansy at each corner if I told her things but what went on here in the kitchen. I wouldn't tell her nothing if she promised me a box full of handkerchief. None of us in the kitchen are tattlers. I hope Spicy ain't one either. Later the same day. Spicy seems nice enough. Quiet, though. We got her settled in and ready to start work come daybreak Monday, here in Aunt T's kitchen. Our day starts when the roosters crow, say Aunt T. It made me dizzy listening to her put to words all the things we do round here. We fix 3 meals every day, take the food up to the big house and serve it. Miss Lily likes her food served on time. First meal is on the table at 8 o'clock. Midday meal is served up at noon. Dinner is at 6:30 o'clock. Then we clean up and get ready for next day. In between we do general house cleaning, dusting. Miss Lily wants a clean house, but she ain't willing to help keep it clean. Throw stuff all round in her room, dress her all messy. We wash on Monday and iron on Tuesday. Even May and Aggie come up from the quarters to help out on those days. William don't eat at the table with his folks, Aunt T say. He eats at a smaller table to the side an hour for his folks. You'll serve him. You understand, girl? Spicy shook her head yes. I ain't never seen nobody with eyes that look like big pools of sorriness. I wonder what's done happened to Spicy to make her look so sad. Monday. It's Monday again. Miss Lily comes swishing to the kitchen first thing this morning, measuring out the flour, sugar, and so on, acting like she know what's going on. That woman don't know salt from sugar, Aunt T chuckled under her breath, let alone how to cook with it. But the missus likes to pretend that she's in charge of the kitchen. But we all know better. Ask anybody and they'll tell you Aunt T is the mistress of Belmont's kitchen. Miss Lily counts the cans of preserves and the dried vegetables against the recipes, making sure we don't eat extra food or give it away to the people in the quarters. In the quarters, they don't never get enough to eat or enough time to eat it. But Aunt T been cooking here at Belmont since Ma's Henley married Miss Lily 16 years ago. She was the onlyest slave he owned when he come here. Everybody else belonged to Miss Lily's family. They was the ones rich. Master come from Tennessee, poor as a church mouse, but he wooed the widow Lily until she married him. Aunt T says Master's married the money, and not Miss Lily. He was hoping that if'n he owned Belmont it would make him a gentleman. He ain't no gentleman, though, no matter how much money he got. Aunt T got her own way of doing things in the kitchen, and it makes Miss Lily mad. I ain't bout to cook and not eat, says Aunt T, laughing. She knows how to pinch and save back, so we most times got a plenty to eat. Sometimes she skims enough off to slip food to a sick child or a nursing mother in the quarters. What we're all hoping is that Spicy can be trusted not to tattle. I don't know for sure, but I don't think Spicy is a tattler. She ain't talking much to nobody, so we just been leaving her be. Monday again. Spicy been here a week already. She's as big as a man and just about as strong. But Lord, that girl is clumsy. She's forever stumbling over things, dropping things, and knocking over things. She been used to hard work, Aunt T say, with a little less suspicion in her voice. Spicy got on the good side of Aunt T when she helped bring the water out of a big old heavy sheets like they was just hand towels and never once complained, even when her hands was all red and sore. Spicy can lift hot pots and even chop wood. Her hands is rough, but even so, she's right pretty. Hard to get a look at her square on, 'cause she holds her head down all the time. She's older than me and bigger than me. For some reason, though, I feel like she needs taking care of. Maybe it's her sad eyes that makes me feel that way. Later. That girl belongs in the fields, says Mass Henley when he saw Spicy serving the table with me. She'll be a great help here in the house, say Miss Lily. Say she bought her for a little and nothing. Spicy don't know it yet, but she's in the middle of a big mess here at Belmont. Mas Henley and Miss Lily always be on two ends of a stick. One say up, the other is bound to say down. Miss Lily bought Spicy, so Mas Henley is sure to find fault with her. It goes like that all the time. Them two having silly fights about one thing or another. Miss Lily say Aunt T is uppity and needs a good beatin'. Mas don't like Uncle Heb. Says he's useless. Digging round out there in them roses don't put meat on my storehouse. He can't see that Belmont is a pretty place 'cause Uncle Heb cares so much about the flowers. Mas Henley can't see pretty 'cause he's too mean inside. If mean was a tree, it would grow tall here at Belmont. Tuesday. During lesson time, the missus give William a smack on his ear. "And you, Clotee, come closer," she snapped at me, as if I had something to do with the heat. "Move that fan faster." But that's exactly what I wanted her to say. Move closer. Standing directly behind William, I can look over his shoulder and see the words in his book. Sometimes when I'm fanning, I make out like I done fell asleep, let my arms drop. Then when Miss Lily yells at me, I jump like I'm waking up. This makes her think I'm not interested in what's going on. I have to be careful doing that, though. I don't want to get caught flirting, but I don't want to lose my job, neither. Next day. The noon meal was broke up when 20 riders stopped by Belmont looking for a man what they say is a northern something I ain't never heard before. The compression on Mas Henley's face say to me that whatever he is, the man is in deep trouble. Mas Henley sent hints to ring the plantation bell, calling everybody to the front of the house. Mas counted heads to make sure all 27 of us was there. He showed round a drawing of a white man with a tangle of dark hair. He had a patch over his left eye. "You ever see this man? You come straight and tell me. I'll make it sweet for whoever helps us catch him." He looked at the picture, spat, then crumpled it into a ball and threw it away. Again, he called the man an abolistine, I think. When no one was looking, I picked up the crumpled up piece of paper and hid it under my dress. I want to know what this abolistine is. Thursday. Spicy and I helped Aunt T make ginger cakes. Spicy spilled more than she got in the bowl. She's just natural-born clumsy. Right after the last meal, Hints and Uncle Heb come to the kitchen for dinner. Aunt T had fixed a 2-layer cake with strawberry preserves in the middle for Mas Henley, or at least he thought it was for him. Aunt T had saved out just enough batter to make me a little cake, about the size of my hand. She say, "A bird flew by and told me there's a girl living round here who's been in this world near about 12 years. Nobody knows the real day I was born, but Aunt T say, you come here when the dogwoods bloomed. Yo mama loved the very breath you took. All us did, said Uncle Heb. He handed me a doll he'd carved out of a hardwood, no larger than 2 thumbs. I've named her Little Bit, 'cause she's so small. Mama knew Aunt T and Uncle Heb. In fact, when she got sent away, she put me in their care. That all happened when I had just come to the age of remembering. Hince made me a sun hat out of field grasses and put it on my head. He had to tease me about it, saying, if you lose it, I'm goin' bust yo' head. These words seemed to upset Spicy something fierce. She snatched off her apron and ran out the door. I started to go after her. Tell her Hince didn't mean it. He wouldn't hit me. Let her be, said Aunt T. So we did. Spicy is totin' a basket full of sorrow on her head. Been beat down so much, I spect. When somebody raised they hand, she covers her head. Mostly I've been letting her be. She don't say much, so I don't say much back to her. At night when we lay side by side on our sleeping pallets, I can hear her crying. I wonder, can she hear me crying sometime too? Friday. Seen Moss Henley's calendar today. It's Friday, April 15th, 1859. Been practicing my writing too. I just wrote River. I sees the James River out in front of the big house. Wonder what's down that old lazy river. I ain't never been away from Belmont. Maybe one day Miss Lily will take me along with her when she goes to Richmond to shop and visit. Saturday. This morning Hince and Spicy got into the worst spat. She's real touch-us about her name being Spicy. Hince found out, and that was good for a tease. He asked if Spicy was more cinnamon or more nutmeg. Lord, what did he say that for? Spicy hauled off and whacked him right in the mouth. You half-white dog, she screamed at him. Hince went sprawling out on the ground. You addled girl, he shouted back. Hurt took over his face. None of us ever say much about the way he looks. Spicy's eyes filled with tears, and she stomped off in a huff, saying, you might look like old master, but you ain't really white, and I ain't got to be put up with you devilin' me. Words said can't be taken back, even if they true. Hince could pass for anybody's ordinary white boy, a member of the big house family. He's got grayish-looking cat eyes and curly sandy hair. There's talk in the quarters that his daddy is a white man. Moss Henley's brother, maybe, or even Moss Henley himself. I don't care who his daddy is. Hince is like my brother, and I know it bothers him that he looks white, but he is black. Later. Whenever I'm troubled about something, I go find Uncle Heb in the roses and help him weed. For I know it, the troubles don't seem so bad. I told Uncle Heb about what Spicy said. Color of yo' skin don't matter when you're a slave, Uncle Heb explained to me, real easy like. Virginia law say, if the mama be black, then her children be black. If the mama be a slave, then her children be a slave. Hince looks white, but he's black 'cause his mama Ola was black. Never mind who his daddy be. Aunt T never say who Hince's daddy is, and I dare not ask. Can't help but wonder, though. Does Hince know who his daddy really is? And if it is Moss Henley, then, how do it make him feel, being the slave of his own daddy? There's something deep down wrong about such a thing, but it go on all the time. Lots of white-looking black folks live in the quarter. They's daddies be white, but they's mamas be slaves, so they be slaves too. Ain't right. I ain't never seen my daddy. Mama told me his name was Bob Coleman. He drowned in the river 'fore I was borned. We all live right here on the river, but can't none of us swim. Moss won't allow it. Say we run away. Thinking 'bout my daddy makes me think 'bout my mama. I miss Mama so bad it hurts, 'cause I knew her, touched her face, seen her smile. But in a strange way, I miss my daddy too, even though I ain't never ever saw him.